Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, very soon 6 million households could face blackouts, power cuts. You have to wonder what the hell is going on in this country. I mean, could it be, right, that this country is somehow in chaos? Could that be what it is? Because every industry that you look at the moment, all over the place, it's in chaos. Whether it's travel, right? Whether it's the NHS, you know, or whether it's the power companies. Now we're finding out that 6 million households, right, could face blackouts, power cuts in 2022. Right, you might come into your house and there's no light. Right, can't turn on the TV. Right, can't charge up your phone. Imagine that. Can't charge up your phone. Right, some people is going to tear their hair out about that. Right, they can't charge up their phone. But what's the common denominator in all these things? It leads you back, right, to the clown who these people voted in to lead this country. Everything, right, leads back to how Boris Johnson has put this country into chaos. And I mean, if you don't believe that, just look at Boris Johnson's private life. Boris Johnson's private life was in absolute chaos. And then, right, if you don't believe that, right, if you can, you probably can look up pictures of Boris Johnson's car. He used to have a Ford Focus, and just look up pictures, yeah, of the state of the inside of that car, right? And let me tell you, and if you don't believe, right, if you don't believe it's Boris Johnson's fault for the chaos, just look at that car, right? Because in that car was a complete mess, just complete chaos. And that's what this country is being run. It's being run very similar to Boris Johnson's life. And who have we got in charge? We have Boris Johnson in charge. Okay, so you have to understand, right, the person, right, if you're looking to blame someone for all of this bullshit, right, all of this hurt, the way how the country is being run, yeah, as if it's being run like a fucking scrapyard. No insult to scrapyard owners, of course, but this country is being run horrendous, right? It's being run rubbish, right? You know, it seems like it's being run by a man who's confused, blind and deaf. Right? And that sums up Boris Johnson's life, because Boris Johnson has always, yeah, been a complete chaos merchant. He lies about everything. He lied to London when he told London, when he became London mayor. He lied to the country to get Brexit done. The country is in chaos. Boris Johnson's life, personal life, is in chaos. What was you expecting when you voted for Boris Johnson? And don't tell me that you knew what you voted for, because clearly you didn't know what you voted for unless you voted for all of this chaos. Okay? Stop voting for your racism. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all the messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everyone who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all the messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for different. Today's supposed to be a flipping bank holiday, you know. All last week I was thinking today was a bank holiday. Today's supposed to be a bank holiday because normally like Whitsun, right? But obviously it's been pushed forward because we've got the we got Her Majesty's big jubilee, her big party coming up at the end of the week. So that's like so they pushed the bank holiday over to it's going to be, I think the bank holiday is actually Friday, isn't it? But whether or not, I don't know whether or not the whole country is going to start taking it off, because there's a lot of things like all the races and all that's going to be on. I'm quite sure that the supermarkets is going to be like, yes, we respect the Queen, but we're still going to open our doors. Yeah, right. And we have to welcome back to the Premier League Nottingham Forest. I don't think it's a welcome to the Premier League for Nottingham Forest, because I don't think Nottingham Forest have been in the Premier League. I think there was when it was the old First Division, they was definitely in that. But I don't think they've ever been in the Premier League, because the Premier League is what? The Premier League is 22 or 23 years old. Right? It's somewhere around there. Might be a bit older, might be slightly younger, but it's somewhere around there. And I'm sure the last time Nottingham Forest was, because I was a mere boy. I'm talking a small boy, right? When Nottingham Forest was last in the major, in the major first league in this country. So I don't think they've actually been in the Premiership. So I think this might be their first time Nottingham Forest are in their Premiership. I don't know who else come up, because I haven't really looked into it. But I thought that Nottingham Forest, that certainly deserves a mention, because it must be, pretty hard for teams in the Championship to come up to the Premiership, because you've got a lot of teams. Obviously, you've got a lot of teams that were, that have gone down from the Premiership, and they always want to come straight back up, because there's a massive bounty to come straight back up. So let's hope that Nottingham Forest come up, and they can do a. There's been a few. There's been a good few teams that have come up into the Premiership that I thought, they're going to go straight back down. That Bournemouth was up for quite a while. Bournemouth wasn't they? I think they've gone back down now, but they was up for quite a while. So yeah. So let's hope that let's see. Because remember they did win the European. They've got European trophies. Nottingham Forest. That's the amazing thing about them, because of old Cloughie. But that's going way back. And then we saw the Champions League final, and unfortunately Liverpool lost. But it was a good game. It was a really good game. But Liverpool, you need to take your chances, man. You need to take your chances. Right? Put the ball in the back of the net when you get a chance. But Courtois was just like, of course, ex-Chelsea goalkeeper, right? But he was like a brick wall, right? And he was just like, past this point, you will not pass, right? And just like, the ball come off the post, and he does some fantastic saves. I mean, I saw him just run, sprint from one side of the goal to the other, right, to keep out Mo Salah. Right? It was just like, it was a brilliant game. But as I say, Liverpool, right, they need to, but as I said, Courtois was just like, he was outstanding, and there was just nothing beating him on that day. I mean, just nothing was going past him. It was very sad for Liverpool, but the treatment of the fans was absolutely atrocious, horrendous by the French police, right? But we got to understand, right? This is all Brexit related, right? See, the French police, right? They don't really know about, Liverpool, Merseyside's reputation with the Tories. They don't know about that. They don't know that that Merseyside hate the Tories. They don't know that, right? So as far as the French are concerned, these are just English fans, right? And you got to understand, right, that you see, Liverpool is very passionate about football. It's a very passionate place about football, and they take it very, very seriously, right? And you can see the greatest sight in football, right, when you see Liverpool play Everton. Right, because all the fans are just mixed together, right? There's no, all the Everton fans over that side, all the Liverpool fans over that side. You know what I mean? And they want to, looking like they want to tear each other's heads off. There's none of that. They all mix together, right? I think I don't know, but I think it's the only derby in this country where that happens. Right, you go to Celtic, or you got Celtic and Rangers, and they can't, the two sets of fans can't be together. Tottenham and Arsenal, the two sets of fans can't be together. West Ham and Millwall, the two sets of fans, you have to keep them, a good stadium apart. Right, Man City, Man United, none of these teams, right, can mix in the way how Liverpool and Man City mix. But you see. Sorry, and Liverpool and Everton. That's a real Freudian slip, right? So none of them can. But the French police, they don't know none of that. All they see is English people, and as far as they're concerned, English people are scum, and they're gonna beat the hell out of them, as far as they're concerned, and more so, right, with Brexit now. Right, they can just get away with these things more and more, and they'll just do it and keep doing it. Right? Because today, right, because all over the weekend, the French was like, in fact, right, at first the French were saying it was all the English fans. It was their fault, right? They got there late, right? They was jumping over fences. They was doing this. They was doing that. It's all their fault. That's what the French police was saying. But the same night, right? I'm sure the French authorities come out and said, "Well, we, it was much more to do with us than them. They was quite well behaved, right?" Because the French know, and the French understand. You know what? They're just like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just go in there, batter them if you want, right? And then later on, right, we'll take responsibility, right? Because we still want FIFA to send, their competitions to us. We don't want, we certainly don't want, French competitions going to other countries. I mean, we certainly wouldn't want that. So when the fans come over, the police have given full authority, right, to beat the hell out of the English. I saw a French policeman, right, just go up to this young lad, and this young lad must have been, he was under 18, so he was probably 16, 17, right? And this French police officer just went up to him, right, after I think he had given his ticket over, right, so he's just coming in, and he just walked, and just by the gate, he just walked up to him with the gas and just sprayed him straight in the face. Bam! Straight in the, right? Now this young lad, and then just carried on walking into the stadium, right? Whereas me, I would have punched his fucking face through, right? And then got battered by the rest of the French police, right? And told, well, you went and hit a police officer. Yeah. Right? Because there's a cut out, obviously there's a cut out the piece where he comes up and sprays you for no reason. Right? But just like, but that's what this is more about. This is more about Britain's stance in Europe now. We never really had good standing in Europe because the police used to always want to beat up British fans in Europe, but that's mainly because the British fans would be behaving badly, right? So the police would go in and just deal with what they got to deal with, and they're much more heavy-handed with the British fans. But now, what you're going to find now, right, is you don't have to you don't have to play up. Right, and especially when it comes to the people like the French police and that, you might, I don't know, the German police might be the same too, but especially when the Spanish police definitely gonna beat your ass, right? The Spanish police definitely gonna beat your ass for no reason. I mean, they beat your ass anyway in Spain for no reason. So they're definitely, so if there's any finals where British teams are in Spain, right, then their ass is gonna be beaten, right? You don't have to play up for a Spanish policeman to beat you up. Right, that's a fact, right? So, right, because they're not like, the Spanish police are certainly not like our police over here, right? They'll beat you up on the smallest whim. Right? You ask them for directions, right, and they'll poke you up in your ribs, right, just for asking for directions, right? So, so I can understand what happened, and no one's gonna link this. No one's gonna link this to that. Right, but trust me, that's what this is. It's much more to do with how people see us in the EU now, right? Whereas, you know what, we don't want to be with you, so okay, you don't want to be with us, okay, well, you can now feel the pain. Question time. So we move over to Brexit Northern Ireland, because question time was in Northern Ireland on Thursday, but I watched it last night on the rerun. Yeah, that's kind of old school, the rerun, right? So I watched it, yeah, and it was just hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. Obviously, you had Conservative Labour, Alliance, Sinn Féin, and the DUPP. You wonder what the extra P is, right? Well, the DUP stands for Don't Understand Politics. So you have to put the P on party. Don't understand politics party. So DUPP. Now, these people have absolutely, they're absolutely laughable. You can laugh at the DUP because they're really stupid. These people on the DUP are just as thick as two very short planks, right? And you just have to wonder, how can people be so stupid? I mean, you come over to England and you think to yourself, only Brexiters could be that stupid. Oh, there I go again. That's a Freudian slip. Because I've just worked it out to myself. The DUP are Brexiters, aren't they? Oh, yeah. So that's why they can be that stupid. These people are thick as two very short planks, right? You know, the lady from the DUP, right? I don't know what her name was, right? But she was there speaking about the problems getting medicines and taking animals across, guide dogs or sheep or whoever, right? It's all a complete nightmare, and it's all down to the protocol. So hold on, but when we said to you that all of this was Project Fair, right? No, sorry. You said to us that all of that was Project Fair. We told you, we were saying all of that. We were saying you're going to have problems getting, goods across. You're going to have real problems. England's going to have problems. Northern Ireland is going to have real problems getting stuff like in and out of Europe. And obviously we've got a very complicated, agreements with Northern Ireland. So she's talking about all of the things that we warned them about, right? Because it didn't take an educated person to work out that we was going to be in serious problems, right, when we leave the EU, right? I never knew anything about the EU before 2016. I never knew anything about it at all. I just knew it was in it. I never knew anything about it, really. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't my business to know anything about it. It was none of our business to know about it. It's the politicians' business. That's their business. It's not our business to know about these things. Right? So, but then I done a lot of reading about the EU, right, between 2016 and 2019. I done a lot of reading about the EU, and I can tell you, yeah, just on starting reading the stuff about the EU, right, you could tell that everything they were saying to you was a lie. It was obvious. When I say it was obvious, I mean it was 100% obvious. All you had to do was start reading the first few parts of what the EU, of the construct of what the EU is about, right? And that would have told you. Listen, this is going to be a serious problem. We're going to have serious issues here if we decide that we're actually going to pull out and do something that's suicidal for this country. And then you've got the Tories on there talking about, oh well, let's not play the blame game. All right, so let's not play the blame game and say, okay, so someone kills your whole family because they're driving a juggernaut lorry, guys, right? And they drive it through your Ford Focus, killing your whole family because they're texting on their phone. So should the judge at that point in sentencing say, you know what, let's not play the blame game, because these people in the car was probably going to commit suicide anyway. I mean, that's how stupid these people just play their Brexit supporting idiot fans for. Let's not play the blame game. We are where we are. And these people are complaining about what they brought onto this country. They voted for this, right? And Labour sat there. Labour voted for this too, right? Sinn Féin never voted for it. Yeah, the Alliance never wanted it in the first place. Right, Alliance was against the protocol in the first place, but the Alliance Party is just saying, well, you know what, we are where we are now, because they never voted for it, but it's like, well, we are where we are now. Same as Sinn Féin, and all they can throw at Sinn Féin is, oh well, what about when you shut down Stormont? Say, yeah, but we shut it down because you was corrupt. It's all because of the DUP, yeah, with their corruption, as always with the right wing. Everything to do with the right wing is about corruption. Whatever country it's in, it's always about corruption, right? And they try and project that onto the other side, right? As, they project on the other side and say, well, the other side, they're all woke. But you know what? When someone says to you about woke, just say to them, what does that actually mean? Just ask them what it means, because I can guarantee you none of them could ever tell you. It's just something that they think they can shut an argument down with. They can't shut down nothing with it, right? Because all of these people, when you check the right wing out anywhere in the world, right, they're always up to criminal behaviour. You've got Donald Trump in the White House burning, burning documents, right, chucking them in the fireplace, flushing them down the toilet, right, leaving the White House, right, with boxes and boxes of documents, right, that he's not that he's not supposed to have left there with, right. Everything these people do is all criminal behaviour. All of it's all criminal behaviour, right. And that's why, right, you see, you've got squarehead Robert Buckland, who just thinks it's okay for the Tories just to say, you know what, we are where we are, and let's not play the blame game. Even though, yes, we are to blame. Of course, we're to blame. It's all our fault. But let's not play the blame game. After they told the whole country, right, everything was Project Fair. Boris Johnson, it was all Project Fair. Nigel Farage, Project Fair. Just all a load of garbage, right? And now, right, they've all been caught out. But unfortunately, it's like being caught out, yeah? But you show remorse because now you're in the police cell. Yeah, it was all laughs and giggles, right, before the police turned up, right, and jailed your ass. It was all laugh and giggles before then, but now you're in the police cell, right? You're all remorseful, right? But we're not even getting that from these people. These people are ready to shout you down, right, and blame the EU and blame everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. It's the EU's fault because they don't want to come back to the table and renegotiate a deal that was signed. It's their fault because they're being belligerent. Seriously, I don't understand, right, how the people in this country are prepared to put up with this bollocks, this bullshit. This is a country run by arseholes, right? The DUP and the Conservatives, right, are so corrupt, right, incompetent, right, and just foolish. That's a reflection on how the whole country works. Just look at the travel chaos that we're facing at the moment. It's like they didn't realise that it's a holiday. It's half term. It's like they didn't realise, and it's like, oh well, it's not that though. I'll tell you what it is. It's because they're having real problems getting staff. That's what the real problem is. Because a lot of the staff, after the pandemic, right, and obviously then Brexit kicked in, so all the rules changed for all of these people. So a lot of people are like, well, you know what, we don't want to go back to that racist, foolish country to go and work. Well, we're going back there to go and work. So the travel industry is facing chaos. Someone was there was a group of people, rather a few thousand people in the airport the other night, and they was there from midday, and then at 9 o'clock. Right, they was told, right, you're not going to be flying today, so you can all bugger off home because you ain't been flying until further notice. But they had to be told that by a policeman, right? Because all these people was already ready to start shouting and railing, and so the police had to come out and tell them, because the whole country is in chaos. And where do you think that all comes back to? It all comes back to a Ford Focus that used to be driven by the man that drives this car that was in complete chaos. All comes back to him. Chaos is his middle name. Not Defeffel. Chaos. Because that is all he's brought this country into. But it was obvious that was going to happen. And see, when I say these things, right, people are like, well, you didn't like him in the first place. Yeah. Right, but that doesn't mean, right, that I was wrong, right? Because I've been proven right. Yeah, this is the problem, right? With everybody who said, what, Boris Johnson is going to be an absolute nightmare if he becomes Prime Minister. Everybody who said that, right, now they just start to us now, well, you didn't like him in the first place. Even though, right, the buildings are falling down around them, and they're just like, well, he'll get it right soon. Yeah, we'll see. Boris Johnson has changed the ministerial code so he can get away with criminal behaviour. And he's taken out honesty and integrity from the ministerial code. After the week he's just had last week, right, you would think to yourself, well, you know what, this person would say, you know what, I'm going to keep my ass quiet for now at least. At least for now, I'm going to just say, you know what, I ain't keep my ass quiet and just see if I can get around this. No, this man's just like, you know what, I don't care, right, that I've had Owen Patterson or whatever the hell his name was, right, getting 100 grand, and then I tried to change the rules for him. I don't care, right, that that Priti Patel was found to have broken the ministerial code, right, but you know what, we're gonna build a wall around the Pritster, right, and make sure that that she's untouchable, right, and in fact, right, the civil servant, so it was Lord Gype, I think, who done the report into Priti Patel, say no, he has to resign for doing the report, because how dare he do a report on one of Boris Johnson's cabinet. Level of corruption, right, from Boris Johnson is just second to none. And now this fool thinks that he can just say, you know what, I'm changing the ministerial code because I'm a motherfucking criminal and no one could do motherfucking nothing about it. Never before have we had a prime minister, right, that was such an outwardly criminal as Boris Johnson is. Right. For him to say, you know what, after the Sue Gray report come out, I'm going to change it because you know what, I don't want anybody judging me, and if they want to have any investigations into me, they have to ask me to have an investigation into me. This is a dictatorship. When you start acting in the way how Boris Johnson's acting, this is a dictatorship. But the difference is the people in this country have voted for this dictatorship. They want this dictatorship. Right? Now, it seems very strange because, in America, very, very similar thing to America. They seem to want their dictatorships. I don't know what it is with this, with the right wing, right? But they seem to, and obviously the way how they set up elections as well, because if we had proportional representation, the Tories would never get in. In the same in America, if they didn't have the college, that college system, what they've got, the Republicans would never get in. So these people have been cheating the system from day one, from ever. They've always been cheating the system because that's the only way that they can keep themselves in power, right? As because remember, right, the right wing are run by the upper classes, right, and all they do is they just say to all of their minions, and their minions are the working classes and the poor, and they just say to all of those people, all of your problems are immigrants. Everything in your life that's going wrong in your life is down to immigrants, and that's the reason why, right, you have to vote against your own interest. Because the only way for you to do well, right, is for you to do that. We're not going to get rid of the immigrants. Oh no. In fact, we're going to invite a million, the highest numbers ever. So we're going to invite 1 million into the country while telling you, oh, but you know what? We're going to be sending black and brown people to Rwanda. Let me tell you this, right? Do you think if a highly skilled migrant comes over on a dinghy, right, the Brits are going to send them to Rwanda? If they come over and say, well, I'm a brain surgeon. What do you mean the chance that the Brits can go like, don't care, you come over here illegally, get to Rwanda? What do you think? I mean, after all, they're going to send 300 people a year anyway. So, I just think, the red meat, again, is just chucking red meat. Because you guys are rats. Because you can't be lions. Yeah. So, it's rats. Okay? You right wing. Rats. Right rats. right-wing rats. Yeah, see, here goes. You know what? I'll just have to do these stories about America because I'm far over my time, but I still have to do these stories about America. The NRA, obviously, they had their they had their their fancy meeting over about over guns in Texas, right? Even though 19 children was murdered just down the road from there, and seems that everyone who goes there, right, wasn't allowed to carry a gun. But obviously guns are very safe, but just not around them. Right? And then obviously you had Donald Trump, gave a massive speech at the rally. Right. Also again, right, fall in an arena, right, where you wasn't allowed to take a gun. So you say, well, if guns are so safe, yeah, why aren't they allowed? Why aren't they allowed around him? Why is his life so special? Right? And our lives are just a bunch of fucking shit. Right? His life is so special. So special. Right? That there's no guns allowed where he is. Right? But for the rest of us, we can get fucking slaughtered by a fucking 18-year-old. Well, I mean, more Americans, because in this country, we are not allowed to have guns. They're 100% illegal. So the Americans can be slaughtered, right, by an 18-year-old, right, who can go and kill an 87-year-old 1 week, right, and then the next week an 18-year-old can go and kill children as young as 9 years old. And the NRA can still have their meeting of death just down the road from where children were slaughtered, because their guns are more important. And the way how they're blaming the Democrats, right, for they're blaming the Democrats. In fact, I don't know what they're blaming the Democrats for, because everything they say is stupid. Because they're blaming the Democrats for wanting to bring in stricter gun laws. So we say, well, surely then you haven't got an argument if you're arguing that they should bring it. Right, they're arguing, well, we want to bring in stricter gun laws, and you're saying, well, no. But then you're blaming them. You're blaming them for blaming you for these type of shootings. I mean, I honestly, I don't think, right, I don't think in a million years I could work out how these guys' minds work, because these people's mind is perverted. They're really confused, right? All they can do is shout down at Democrats, right, while toting their gun lock. The whole thing is just like, I don't know. Everything just seems to be just complete chaos over there as well, right? Especially when it comes down to their gun control. Do you realise, right, that a president, right, cannot have a gun amnesty anyway? I mean, they couldn't say we're going to take away everyone's guns, because the president will probably be killed. That is the true fact. The president will probably be killed, and everything they said to us about it was a lie. What the police said about, how the guy arrived there and all these things, it was all a lie. Right, so my video on what I done on Friday was all taken from what they had said, but it was all just rubbish, because it was all lies. They just completely lied about it. You had 19 police officers, in fact, 19 good guys with guns, standing outside the classroom, right, while this guy's in there committing carnage. Children phoning 911 from inside the classroom. These are facts that they left out. They didn't speak about all these facts. This guy didn't have a shootout outside. He was outside shooting at people. and you know, and then he managed to just basically walk into the school. Right, he was outside for you know, he got there at, I think 11:48, right, something like that. I can't remember the actual times, but you know, it was about 12 minutes before he actually entered the school. He's outside shooting his gun at people, at the funeral home, and all these things. These, you know, but I don't know, you know, because even now, right, you know, I don't trust what these people are saying, because you had 19 good guys with guns stood outside there, right, and just allowed these kids to be slaughtered. Look at me, I'm so far over my time, right? But I just need to do these 3 Brexit stories. Imperial measurements are back. Boris Johnson will reveal this week. You know something? That is just... I was looking for something without swearing, but it's just bollocks. It's just rubbish. It's just complete garbage. I mean, imperial measures. Who gives a fuck? You could always use imperial measures in this country. When they tell you about a baby who's just been born, what does it say to you? What does it say to you? It's 7 kilos. It's 8 kilos. No, they tell you in pounds and ounces what the baby's weight is. Right? Do you know what I mean? You know, seriously, these people, they just know how stupid and racist and idiots the Brexiters are, so they just feed them this nonsense. The Bank of England is reluctant to speak about the harm of Brexit, says the Bank of America. See, because these banks, they talk to each other like this all the time. They're like, yeah. But that's what the Bank of America said. You're reluctant to speak about it because you can see the harm what it's caused, and you don't want to talk about it. And it's the same nightmare week after week. UK firms are upset about post-Brexit trade deals with the EU. They find it really difficult to trade with the EU. I mean, who the hell knew that would happen after Brexit? And if you stupid ass Brexiters wasn't so foolish, right, and come up, just look it up, to want to come and vote for something that was so stupid and reckless, right? If it wasn't for the fact that you're a big bunch of racist fools, we wouldn't be in this position that we're in. Anyway, my friends, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.